11 years apart. Same name, same company, almost the same weight, and almost nothing else in common. New Atlas has 56 degrees of freedom, double the old model. That sounds like a clean spec upgrade, but there's a specific movement New Atlas can perform that no human joint can replicate. And whether that actually matters in the field is the question this whole video is built around. The old Atlas versus new Atlas comparison isn't just nostalgia. Humanoid robots are moving from labs into real factories right now. Hyundai is already deploying them on production lines. If you want to understand what these machines can and cannot actually do, you need to understand what changed between 2013 and today, and what those changes cost. Boston Dynamics Atlas Robot 2024 is the second machine to carry that name, and calling it an upgrade undersells the gap. The original Atlas launched in 2013 as a DARPA-funded research platform. Its job was to survive disaster scenarios, not to be commercially useful. It was loud, it leaked hydraulic fluid, and it needed a tether for power in its early years. Most people remember it for backflips. What they don't realize is that those backflips were essentially a proof of concept. Impressive, deliberate, and entirely disconnected from what robots actually need to do in the world. In a humanoid-robot comparison, mobility is the obvious starting point. Old Atlas could run at around 9 kilometers per hour, jump, and land a backflip with enough consistency to put it on every tech highlight reel for a decade. That is genuinely remarkable for a hydraulic machine. New Atlas moves differently, slower in raw sprint speed, but with smoother, more deliberate motion designed for sustained operation rather than short demonstrations. Old Atlas was built to impress in bursts. New Atlas is built to work for 4 hours without stopping. Winner, New Atlas. Endurance beats spectacle when the job isn't a demo. This is where the electric versus hydraulic robot debate gets concrete. Hydraulic systems are powerful. Old Atlas could generate significant force, but they are mechanically complex, loud, and prone to fluid leaks. They also require external power management that limits operational independence. New Atlas runs on a swappable lithium-ion battery with up to 4 hours of runtime and an IP67 rating, meaning it is sealed against dust and water immersion. For a research lab, hydraulics are fine. For a factory floor that runs multiple shifts and gets wet, they are not a workable solution. Winner, New Atlas. It's not close. Here is where it gets interesting. Old Atlas had 28 degrees of freedom, enough for walking, climbing, and manipulation. New Atlas has 56, and the Atlas robot's degree of freedom increase isn't just numerical. Those joints can rotate beyond human anatomical limits. New Atlas can orient its wrists, shoulders, and torso in positions a human arm simply cannot reach. That raises a genuine question worth putting in the comments. Is superhuman range of motion an advantage in an environment designed entirely around human proportion movement? Or does it create new failure modes nobody has mapped yet? Winner. New Atlas on paper. The real-world verdict is still being written. Remember the question from the opening: extra joints, real utility, or lab theater? The Atlas robot Hyundai deployment is the first large-scale test of that, and what it reveals changes how you read the rest of this comparison. Old Atlas was never meant to work. That is not a criticism. It is a design fact. It was a Boston Dynamics factory robot in 0 ways. It existed to advance the science of bipedal locomotion under DARPA funding. New Atlas was engineered from the ground up to operate in manufacturing environments. It can lift 110 pounds instantly and sustain 66 pounds continuously. It is being tested in Hyundai plants. The shift from research subject to industrial tool is not incremental. It is a complete reclassification of what the machine is for. Winner. New Atlas in a category Old Atlas was never entered in. Old Atlas operated on pre-programmed control systems layered with research-grade AI. Impressive for its time, but reactive rather than adaptive. New Atlas uses modern machine learning that allows it to generalize tasks, meaning it can handle variations it was not explicitly trained for. when people debate the best humanoid robot 2025, sensing matters as much as the model underneath it. New Atlas has 360-degree camera coverage and tactile feedback in its hands. It does not just see its environment. It feels what it is holding. That is the difference between a robot that follows instructions and one that responds to reality. Winner, New Atlas. And it's not a generational gap. It's a different paradigm. Old Atlas cost an estimated $1 million per unit and was never sold. New Atlas carries estimated pricing above $100,000. Expensive, but entering a range where enterprise ROI conversations become possible. More importantly, the humanoid robot evolution Old Atlas enabled is the reason New Atlas exists. Every fall, every recovered stumble, every viral backflip was training data for what came next. Not in the machine learning sense, but in the engineering culture sense. Boston Dynamics learned what bipedal robots could absorb. New Atlas is the machine built on that knowledge. Winner, both, for entirely different reasons. So, do those superhuman joint ranges actually matter in practice? Based on Boston Dynamics robot capabilities from the Hyundai trials, yes, but not for the reason most expect. It is not about reach or speed, it is about error recovery. When New Atlas misjudges a grip, those extra degrees of freedom allow mid-motion correction without falling. Old Atlas would have hit the floor. New Atlas adjusts. That is the difference between a demo robot and a working one. If this kind of technical breakdown is what you are here for, the channel has more where this came from. Old Atlas proved bipedal robots could be extraordinary. New Atlas is proving they can be ordinary, and that is the harder achievement. Extraordinary gets applause, ordinary gets a purchase order. The real question is not whether humanoid robots work anymore. It is how fast the gap closes between what they cost and what they replace. Because when that math tips, the industry does not gradually shift. It breaks. The next machine worth watching in this space is not from Boston Dynamics. If you know someone who still thinks hydraulic robots are competitive with electric ones, send them this. The numbers settle it.